Hello friends, welcome to day 4 of 100 days of prenatal yoga. Might be crazy, but I'm going to try to do 100 days consistently of prenatal yoga, but for myself, but also to share it with you. So today I actually had an ultrasound, baby's good, everything's good. But we're gonna do a more of an energizing flow today. One of the things that the radiologist, the tech that does all the scanning. Oh, there's a name for that and I can't think of it. But she was saying, oh, this baby is super active. I'm like, yes, I literally feel like she's doing somersaults in there. So we're going to be active today in our flow. So join with me, adjust as needed. It's going to be quick, probably about 20 minutes, but it'll get your heart rate up. But also, if it feels too high, just take it easy, take it slow. Everybody is different. And where you're at, some days I don't feel like I have the energy to really push. And other days I do feel like I have a little bit. So we're gonna get started on the top of our mat, finding our mountain. It's always just a real nice time to recenter and pause. Often in those crazy days, sometimes just need a minute. Breathing deeply, exhaling completely. At your own pace. We're going to inhale those hands up high to the sky. Fingertips reaching toward the sky. We're going to bring those hands together, bending slightly to the right. And then slightly to the left, again, what feels good in your range of motion. Back to center, cactus those arms open, squeezing those shoulder blades. And then releasing. Big breath. We're going to do a modified Sun Salutation. So if you've done yoga before, you kind of know where we're going, but we're definitely adjusting for pregnant bodies. Inhaling up, forward fold. So coming down, you're probably not going to go all the way down to the ground. Those bellies, they just don't allow it. So we're going to just hang in that forward fold. Coming up to half lift, that's when your back comes flat. Your knees can come to your thighs or your shins, whatever's comfortable. We're going to drop those hands down to the mat by bending at the knees, coming back down into a table. Normally it's a plank. I'm going to do a modified plank. So those toes are up. Bending at the elbows, just like a chaturanga, but we're not really going to come all the way down just because of our bellies. And then we're just going to lift up slightly. Again, adjust to what feels good for you. We're going to tuck those toes, pushing our bottoms up to the air. This is available to you. If not, you can go back to table in our down dog. And then we're going to walk our toes to our hands, keeping that wide stance for the belly, and then inhaling up. Bring those hands to heart. We're going to do that again, inhaling up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Hands come down to your mat, stepping back into that modified plank, so knees, or if this is too much, table is totally fine. Bending slightly at the elbows and then just lifting that chest up. Again, not overextending, what feels good to you. Tucking those toes, pushing up into your down dog or table. And then walking those feet toward the front of our mat. Big steps feel good to me today. And then rolling it up. Inhaling up and hands to heart. We're going to ground that front foot, the right foot in front. That back foot's gonna be perpendicular. We're gonna move into warrior one today. So our hips and our bellies are pointed toward the front of our mat. Hands are gonna come up. And then we're gonna lift and lower with those cactus arms. So bending at that knee, down and up. Again, watch your range of motion. Do what feels good for you today. Breathe through. We're going to pause in that warrior one at the top. Bring those hands behind our back. We're going to bend slightly at the waist for that humble warrior. Breathing through. We're going to bring those hands down toward our mat. Again, this is where blocks might come in handy. We're going to drop that back knee down. So we're in that low lunge with that left knee on the mat. Just going to pause here. You can be high like this, or you can extend those hips forward. Again, adjust to what feels good for you. Tucking that toe, coming back up. We're going to use our strength to rise back up into our warrior one. Actually, it's crescent. Crescent lunge. So both toes are pointed forward. Let's bring those hands to our hips. We're going to do a little leg strengthening before we move on to the other side. Just real slight lift and lower. Lunges have been a little challenging for me recently. So again, if you need to hold onto a wall or a chair, this is the strength portion of our practice today. Lift and lower. And then if available, we're going to tap that toe in. So tap it to the top and back. You can use those runner arms for balance. Should be breathing a little heavier, raising that heart rate. At the top of our mat, back in our mountain. Big inhale in and out. When I hear that breath. Inhaling up, fingers to the sky. Forward fold. And leaving room for that belly. Halfway lift. Hands come down to your mat, stepping back safely to that modified plank. Bending at the elbows just a little bit, and then lifting that shoulder, that collarbone. Tucking those toes, pushing back to down dog. Wide steps to the top. And inhaling back up, hands to heart. One more time through, inhale up, release, down to your mat, halfway lift, hands down to plank, modified plank. Bending slightly at the elbows and then lifting that collarbone up. It's like a tiny little chaturanga. Someday we'll get back there. Tucking those toes, pushing back to your down dog or table. And then wide steps to the top of your mat. Inhaling up. Hands to heart. Big inhale, exhale. Again. Find grounding with that left foot. Right foot's gonna step back. Hips are gonna come toward the front of our mat. And our warrior one, hands come up high to the sky. cactus arms down, lower, and lift. Pausing in that warrior one. Hands come behind you. You can grab your fingertips interlaced, or you can grab elbow to elbow if that's comfortable for you. Leaning forward into our humble warrior. Bending at the knee, we're going to bring those hands down to the mat. Again, blocks might be handy. Dropping that right foot, right knee down to the mat, and that low lunge. Again, up here, hips higher is great, or lower them down, whatever feels good for you today. Every day might be a little different. Tucking that back toe, we're going to rise up using our strength into our crescent lunge. So both toes are pointed forward, hips are forward, fingers are extended. Bringing those hips, hands to our hips. Just slightly lower and lift. Finding balance, finding strength. And if available, we're going to tap to the top and back. Last one. Coming to the top, back to our mountain. Big inhale and exhale. We're going to face the wide side of our mat. Now into our 5-point star. So feet are wide, they can be pointed forward or they can be slightly angled. Again, whatever's comfortable for you and your body. We're going to extend those fingertips wide to our 5-point star. Opening that chest, finding length and strength. Breathing through. We're going to fold in half at the waist, so those fingers come toward your toes. Again, whatever is comfortable for you. If it's available to you, grab those toes, grab the ankles, rest your fingertips on your thighs or the ground. You're going to be in this wide-legged fold. Let that head feel heavy. You can grab elbow to elbow. We're going to put hands on hips, slowly lower all the way up to standing. We're going to bring our hands to our heart and move into what's called Skandasana. It's kind of a lateral lunge. So we're going to bend our right knee. This left leg is going to stay extended. And so Skandasana, you can come down here and keep those hands to heart. You can bring them down to the mat. You can rest your hand on your knee. The whole point is right knee bending, left leg extending. Again, it's strength and stretch. Coming back to center, we're gonna move to the other side. So left leg bends, right leg extends. Again, it could be up high, it could be back down low. Ooh, hands on the mat, whatever feels good for you today. Back to center. Bring those feet in a little bit if they've extended. We're gonna do some Yogi Squats. So typically my feet like to be angled against what's comfortable for you. Bending at the knees, hands to heart. Coming down that Yogi Squat. Again, if you're here, totally okay. It's whatever's for you and your body. Or if you still have range of motion to come all the way down, that is okay too. You can always place a block under your bottom. lengthening and strengthening those thighs and those legs. And then releasing to standing. We're gonna raise those hands up high and back to heart. Coming toward the top of our mat, we're gonna move our way down to the mat for a little bit more relaxation after some challenging moves. Inhaling up, forward folding down, coming down to your mat into your table. Dropping that belly down to your cat-cow stretches. Rounding that back up. And down. And up. Widening those knees, keeping those toes pointed toward each other, pushing back to your child's pose. Breathing through, letting that heart rate come down. Finding stillness again. Walking those fingertips toward the left corner of your mat, pulling slightly back to the right. Walking those fingertips to the right, pulling slightly to the left. Back to center. And rising back up to our table. Cat-cow. Breathing through. And swinging those legs around to your seated position. Again, whatever is comfortable for you. Adjust those yoga clothes. Be in your easy seat and keep those legs open for butterfly. We're just going to find grounding and gratitude. Dropping that chin to our chest. Lifting it up to the sky. Right ear to right shoulder. Left ear, left shoulder. Back to neutral, some big shoulder circles. And then reverse. Pausing, coming to your most relaxed position. So for most of us in second trimester or third, that's going to be on your side with a pillow, a block between your knees. Or first trimester, you can even lay on your back still. Finding your most relaxed position for 1 minute of Shavasana. Finding gratitude for our practice today. Stillness before we go back to our busy days. Wiggling your fingers and toes. Using your hand to lift you back up to your easy seat. In your own time. Finding your way back to seated. Hands rested gently on your knees. Heart is open. Mind is open. Soul is grateful. Thank you for sharing this practice today. Hope to see you tomorrow. Namaste.